Many thanks for joining us on Plus TV Africa. My name is Felicity Ezewike with the news. According to the Electoral Commission, President Emmerson Mnangagwa has won Zimbabwe's presidential election. With all 10 provinces declared, Mr. Mnangagwa won 50.8% of votes to 44.3% for opposition leader Nelson Chamisa, even though chairman of the opposition party MD Alliance has said the vote cannot be verified. Reacting to results of the presidential polls via Twitter, the president says he is humbled and called the results a new beginning. By narrowly winning more than 50% of the vote, Mr. Mnangagwa avoids a second runoff election against Mr. Chamisa. Police, reacting swiftly, removed opposition officials from the Electoral Commission's premises when they rejected the polls. Mr. Mnangagwa from the ruling ZANU-PF party took over as president last November from long-serving leader Robert Mugabe.
The votes received by Mnangagwa Emmerson Dambudzo of ZANU-PF party are more than half the number of votes cast in the presidential election. Therefore, Mnangagwa Emmerson Dambudzo of ZANU-PF party is therefore duly declared elected president of the Republic of Zimbabwe with effect from the 3rd of August 2018.
Meanwhile, the opposition has rejected the President Emmerson Mnangagwa's historic presidential election win after a poll marred by deadly violence and allegations of vote rigging. Mnangagwa was declared winner of the election on Thursday night after the country's first election since the toppling of veteran leader Robert Mugabe, with a slim lead over Nelson Chamisa, head of the Movement for Democratic Change. Mnangagwa, who took over the ruling ZANU-PF party from Mugabe last year, was appointed president. He won 50.8% of the vote and Chamisa got 44%. This is according to the Election Commission. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa, who is also the chairperson of the Southern African Development Community, has urged all Zimbabweans on Friday to accept the election of Emmerson Mnangagwa as president after a poll marred by violence. President Ramaphosa, through a statement from the presidency, made this appeal to all political leaders and the people of Zimbabwe to accept the outcome of the election, and should they have challenges, they must follow legal remedies provided for in the Constitution and electoral law. Mali's presidential election will go to a runoff poll after President Ibrahim Keita failed to get enough votes to win a second term in office overnight. This according to preliminary figures provided by the government. Keita won 41.4% of the vote in the mostly desert West African country, while rival Somali Cisse won 17.8%. The Ministry of Territorial Administration said on Thursday, 4 days after an election marred by accusations of fraud and attacks by suspected militants that prevented thousands from voting. With neither candidate obtaining the 50% required to win outright, the two will meet in a runoff vote later this month. Turnout was just over 43%, in line with a historical average that is the lowest in West Africa. Keita's camp had been confident of winning the most votes in the lead up to the count, but had not ruled out the possibility of a second round. They put a positive spin on the poll after the results were announced. The Italian authorities have detained Mohamed Massab, an Egyptian former minister who served under the deposed democratically elected president Mohamed Morsi, and a figure in the Egyptian opposition against the regime of Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Morsi, who was the former Minister of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, was reportedly detained in the city of Catania on the east coast of the island of Sicily. Massoud said in a post on his Twitter account that the Italian police refused to disclose the charges against him, pointing out that the arrest was made at the request of the Egyptian authorities. The Ashanti king, Otumfuo Nana Tutu II, has given land to one of Uganda's top pharmaceutical firms to build a factory and manufacture HIV/AIDS drugs in Ghana. Otumfuo announced the offer during a visit to Chipla Chemicals plant in Luzira outside Kampala as he concluded his 5-day visit as a special guest at Kabaka Ronald Mutebi's coronation Silver Jubilee anniversary celebrations. The monarch's offer was on the request of the Chipla Chemicals chief executive, Mr. Emmanuel Katangole. Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari, speaking at a campaign rally in Bauchi on Thursday, has urged his supporters not to be worried about defections from the All Progressive Congress, as he expects God to fish out the hypocrites and dishonest people among them. The president said this at a campaign rally for Gumalawa Yahaya, the APC candidate in the Bauchi South Senatorial District by-election scheduled to take place on August 11. God will continue to fish out the bad eggs amongst us, the president was quoted as saying in a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina. President Buhari, who is seeking re-election in 2019, assured APC supporters in Bauchi that his administration and the party had not forgotten their campaign promises and that they were working to surpass the promises. He said, the work we're doing is because of God, our country, and you. I want to inform you that the knowledge we have garnered over the years, we won't allow you to be cheated. Like we promised, what will determine a good future for the country are security, strong economy, and to stop corruption. We campaigned on these things, you voted for us, and we will never forget. After more than 3 years in office, the president and the APC have come under criticism for their performance, especially with regards to the handling of killings in the country. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari will address the 73rd session of the high-level general debate of the UN General Assembly at the UN headquarters in New York on Tuesday, September 25. Buhari would deliver Nigeria's national statement on the first day of the general debate of the General Assembly high-level event. The news agency of Nigeria reports that the president has been placed as the number 20 on the list of the speakers out of the 193 world leaders that would address the assembly, and would deliver his address between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. Nigerian time. Recall that during the 2017 session of the general debate of the assembly, Buhari was the 8th speaker out of the 193 world leaders who addressed the assembly. The 2018 General Assembly will be Buhari's 4th outing at the annual general debate of the assembly since he became president in 2015. The 73rd session of the General Assembly would open on September 18, 2018 till October 5, while the debate will commence on September 25 to October 1. The People's Democratic Party on Thursday formally welcomed home Senate President Bukola Saraki, Governor of Sokoto State Aminu Tambuwal, Samuel Ortom of Benue, former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwangwaso, Nigeria's former High Commissioner to South Africa Ahmed Ibeto, and Senator Dino Malai, as they attended the party's National Executive Committee meeting in Abuja. All the men were former members of the All Progressive Party and also former members of the PDP. They have simply returned home, as party's national chairman Uche Secondus said in his opening speech. Saraki said he and other colleagues were happy to be back home where they truly belong. He said that the ongoing defection was a great sacrifice done for Nigerians who have suffered deprivation. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mohammed Yakubu, has filed an appeal challenging the arrest warrant issued against him by the Federal High Court Abuja. In the appeal, Yakubu is challenging the validity of the arrest warrant that was issued against him by the court. The appeal filed by Mr. Adegbo Yega Awomolo, counsel to the appellant, was made available to newsmen on Thursday in Abuja. The INEC boss maintained that he could not be arrested on the basis of a bench warrant that was legally defective. He urged the Court of Appeal to invoke its powers and void the arrest order made by Justice Stephen Pam. Pam had, in a bench ruling on Wednesday, ordered the police to arrest and produce Yakubu in court on August 8 to face contempt charges. The other followed Yakubu's failure to earn a summons the court issued for him to appear in respect of a suit involving the Anambra chapter of People's Democratic Party. Up next will be Foreign Sing. Stay with us. Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu said on Friday the United States and Turkey have agreed to work closely to resolve issues between them following what he called a constructive meeting with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Cavusoglu and Pompeo met on the sidelines of a meeting of regional ministers in Singapore. Their talks came after Washington imposed sanctions on two of Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan's ministers over the trial of the U.S. pastor accused of backing terrorism. Turkey has said the sanctions are unacceptable. Cavusoglu said he and Pompeo had also discussed potential joint steps the two countries could take regarding Syria's Idlib and Manbij. The NATO allies are also at odds over Syria policy. Tokyo has launched the first two new 27 DDG class destroyers. The ceremony was held at Japan Marine United's shipyard at Isogo Ward in Yokohama, south of Tokyo, with Defense Minister Isnori Onodera in attendance. The first 27 DDG class destroyer, called Maya, is 170 meters long and displaces 8,200 tons. It is primarily designed to enhance Japan's ballistic missile defense capabilities. The ship is equipped with the Aegis baseline J7 combat system, which is the Japanese version of the Aegis baseline 9BMD 5.1 standard. Israeli forces have detained at least 3 Palestinians and confiscated weapons and money during an overnight raid across the occupied West Bank. The Israeli army in a statement said that 3 weapons were found and confiscated in a search raid to a Palestinian house in the southern West Bank city of Hebron. Locals said that Israeli forces detained a Palestinian youth, identifying him as Yahya Taki al-Din Hutari, from his family house in the Kaf Saba neighborhood of Kakwiliya city in the northern West Bank. Meanwhile, a Palestinian youth identified as Said Tai Islam from the Azan town in the same district turned himself into the Israeli forces at a military checkpoint set up at the entrance of the town. Up next is business news with Didion Iwang. Stay with us.
And on business news, Apple has just become the first American public listed company to hit the $1 trillion value. It hit the bar after its share price rose from $207.04 to $208.38 per share on Thursday. This brings the tech company up to a 20% increase this year. The share price of Apple rose just after it reported its earnings on Wednesday, showing that it had surpassed its earnings forecast and maintained a healthy outlook. Some analysts still predict a higher share price of $225 per share. While Nigeria's Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry has asked the federal government to sign the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. At a quarterly press briefing of the state of economy, the president of the chamber says the advantages of signing outweighs the disadvantages of not signing the deal.
The totality of our economy is not about manufacturing. Manufacturing contributes less than 12% to our GDP. We have services We have financial institutions. We have distributive trade. I mean, if you go to most part of Africa today, or even Europe, or even China, people are in business of buying and selling in a big way. We have a lot to gain as a people. We have the largest number of people in this thing. So if small countries are not afraid to go in there, why can't we go in there? All we need to do is to work on all our challenges, those things that are drawing us back. And there is a safe gap there. There are things that we can protect also. So some of our manufacturing things could be protected. But we have a lot to gain there than not to be there.
On the activities of the Nigerian Stock Exchange from yesterday, our business correspondent Irene Ubani brings us up to date on all the deals and trades that took place.
The Nigerian stock markets closed on an upward thread as the all-share index rose by 0.06% to close at 36,636.42. On the list of top gainers was Total, which had a 2.63% rise, gaining 5 naira, and ETI rose by 5.53%, gaining 1 naira 15 kobo. On the list of top decliners was Nigerian Breweries, which declined by 2.91%, a 3 naira drop, and Guinness also declined by 2.08%, a 2 naira drop. Leading the list of top trades was NACO, which traded a volume of 130.54 million, valued at 777.12 million naira. On sectorial indices, NSE 30, NSE Insurance and NSE Banking rose, while NSE Oil and Gas and NSE Industrial dropped. Equity capitalization stood at 13.391 trillion naira, and total deals was 3,191. Irene Ubani, reporting for Plus TV Africa.
Now that's it on business news. I'm Edidiong Iwang. But still ahead is a roundup on entertainment and sports. Don't go away.
And in entertainment, following the recent performance of Nigerian singers Simi and Lagbaja in Abuja at the Johnny Jazz and Whiskey concert, Simi has revealed regarding the event that performing with Lagbaja was a milestone and described the experience as meeting a legend. Lagbaja also responded on his Instagram page calling Simi an angel. Based on the meeting, their performance and the recent comments about each other, fans are of the view that both singers should collaborate on a project as soon as possible. Legendary South African actor Winston Nshona has died. He passed away at the age of 77. News of the death broke on Thursday, with fans, friends and family paying tribute to the icon and pouring out their condolences on social media. Nshona is well known for his roles in Athol Fugard's The Island, as well as Sizwe Banzi is Dead. Nshona also walked away with a Lifetime Achievement Award for acting at the 2011 South African Film and Television Awards. Former American professional baseball player Alex Rodriguez has set the record straight regarding his alleged engagement to American pop star Jennifer Lopez. His revelation came on Wednesday on the Today Show with Kathy Lee Gifford. According to him, he had given J-Lo a ring 4 or 5 months ago, and although acknowledged that the ring has significance, was quick to say, "No, we're not engaged," but went on further to explain why the relationship works. And I quote, "We're in our 40s, we're both from New York, we're both from Latino backgrounds, both have 2 kids, we've both been through a lot and can really appreciate each other for the good and the challenges." And that's it on entertainment, the very best in sports, right after this.
Many thanks for joining us. This is Sport Update on Plus TV Africa, and I am Udoka Njoko. In athletics, Tobi Amusan, the reigning African champion in the women's 100-meter hurdles, has risen in the defense of Nigeria's queen of the tracks, Blessing Okagbare, over her decision to pull out from the 100-meter and the 200-meter event at the ongoing African Senior Athletics Championships in Asaba, Delta State to be precise. And Okagbare confirmed her non-participation on the opening day of the competition and has been heavily criticized for her decision. Although her coach, Daniel Etsebimino, said Okagbare decided to stay away from both the 100-meter and the 200-meter events due to injury and advice from her doctor to stay off for the rest of the season. When Tobiloba Amusan was asked about the matter after she won the Team Nigerian's first gold medal in the 100-meter hurdles with a time of 12.86 seconds, the Djibouti-born sprinter said no one has the right to question Blessing Okagbare.
You know, track and field is a game of, I'm not going to say you have to be smart about your body. Like she said, she has a personal decision made by her team, and whatever decision she makes is left for her, and nobody can question her. She has been doing Nigeria so proud, and missing one championship doesn't mean nothing. She have won so many African senior championships, so that's it.
And in tennis, British number 2 Cameron Norrie reached his second successive semi-final by defeating Adrian Manarino at the Los Cabos Open in Mexico. And Norrie won 6-4, 6-4 against the French world number 25, who was seeded 4th. It is Norrie's third ATP World Tour semi-final after reaching the last 4 at the Atlanta Open last week. And he will go on to face 31-year-old Italian second seed and world number 15 Fabio Fognini on Saturday. An Argentine top seed and world number 4 Juan Martin Del Potro will play Bosnia's Damir Zuma in the other semi-final. And in football, Chelsea have joined the race to sign Wilfred Zaha as they look to sign the Crystal Palace forward, although the Eagles are not keen to lose their talisman forward this summer and have already offered him a new £125,000 deal a week in a bid to keep him at Selhurst Park, which he has turned down. And now Chelsea are willing to pay him considerably more in order to tempt him to Stamford Bridge. And Palace are not willing to sell the Ivory Coast international unless they are offered a huge sum to sell him for his second time in his career. And the Blues have one other advantage over other suitors as Everton tried to bring him to Goodison Park, but then he snubbed their interest. And that's all on Sport Update on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoko.
Thanks, Udoka. And that's our roundup of events at this hour. We'll be back later with more news making the headlines. In the meantime, do follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PlusTVAfrica.com. My name is Felicity Ezewike. Have a lovely day.